God, Val Kilmer's so cool in Tombstone. It's ridiculous.
Just get that in there.
I'm just very impressed. I did not. My whole view of Val Kilmer is different today than it was yesterday.
The NBA has announced that it's canceling the Magic City night at the Atlanta Hawks game. Ethan Strauss, you wrote about this and brought some data back from your ESPN days. And
Yes.
do you think the NBA is soft, flaccid for canceling the Magic City night?
Flaccid, perhaps, but soft.
Lake Placid.
No. Yeah. Placid as well. Yeah. So I know it's a little hard to argue for this on Twitter where everybody's trying to outcool each other, but I think that I wouldn't go to the extent that Luke Kornet went and talk about how we need to protect women and everything else. I think there's a simpler argument to be made of appropriateness. And it's just, can we admit, a little inappropriate? It's just a little much. And people will say, in response to that, they'll say, well, they've got alcohol there at the game. They've got gambling ads there at the game. And I observe that. I think there's a level of vice that's there. I don't think people necessarily want all the gambling ads. The gambling companies just pay them a lot of money to have them there. And so here's my hypothesis. Here's what I think happened. This isn't a moral proclamation. This is just what I'm guessing. And it's with no sourcing at all. Reckless speculation. I think what probably happened as this became more and more of a thing in the news is you start getting some emails from season ticket holders. And while I noticed that the price for this game was going up because it was this novel event, season ticket holders for the Atlanta Hawks, they have a lot of cause to be impatient and annoyed over the years. And nobody likes to bellyache more than a season ticket holder for a team that's not winning a championship. And I could imagine that there's a bunch of Luke Kornets emailing in and saying, look, I paid for these tickets. When I paid for these tickets, there wasn't any promise I'd have to explain stripper night to my kids.
You think it was a fan rebellion, like a fan related, like a season ticket holder? I was thinking it might be corporate sponsors that were like, we can't have our signage on Magic City night and potentially have our logo in a video that went viral for something that happened in the arena that is unappealing to us and inappropriate. That's what I think happened is sponsors.
They're not mutually exclusive, so perhaps that happened. I don't know which sponsors would care to that degree, but you never know how corporations think. You get enough emails from season ticket holders who say, look, I didn't expect, because the argument is this: you don't have to go to Magic City night. They're not rubbing it in your face if you don't want to be there. And that's true. That's true. But you're going to have people who just show up without even knowing there's a promotion because we don't have a monoculture. So we might be clued into the story, but they're just buying tickets to see the Pelicans or whatever, and they don't know. And then they're going to be there with their kids, and it's stripper night. And
come on, kids.
Then you've got,
let's go see Jeremiah Fears pick a fight with someone.
So you've got people who are going to show up there and not know that it's the thing. It's been a great thing for Magic City, by the way. What a coup for them. They got everything they need out of this. It's just an amazing thing for Magic City. So, yeah, I think my position on it would just be that I don't hate Magic City. I've never been there. I'm very impressed. I love how they do the NBA walk-ins for their strippers. So I support that. I don't know if you guys have seen that on the internet. I think that's amazing.
On the internet? Okay, yeah. Okay, sure.
Yeah. And I know the argument is that Magic City is a higher class strip club, that it's more of a community meeting ground and whatever. But
cultural institution, Ethan.
A cultural institution. And that, be that as it may, but it still does not get to be a cultural institution or be as famous as it is without strippers and stripping. And I think some people just don't want to explain that to their kids. And this is theoretically, supposedly family entertainment. So that probably led to why it had to be canceled.
So I saw the Hawks statement on this. They said, while we are very disappointed in the NBA's decision to cancel our Magic City night promotion, we fully respect its decision. As a franchise, we remain committed to celebrating the best of Atlanta with authenticity in ways that continue to unite and bring us all together. And then they followed that up with what to expect at the game. First bullet. Legendary rapper and King of the South T.I. will perform at halftime as scheduled. The limited edition Peachtree themed hoodie will no longer be available for purchase at the game. All pre-order merchandise will be honored and delivered as previously scheduled. The live recording of the Hawks AF podcast, including Hawks principal owner, filmmaker, and actor Jamie Gertz, T.I., and Magic City founder Michael Mr. Magic Barney, has been canceled. Fans who purchase tickets to the recording will be contacted directly. And the last one, maybe my favorite, the full array of award-winning culinary options available at State Farm Arena for Hawks games will be available, including wings.
So if the official story is it's coming down from the NBA and not the Hawks, I wonder if what I'm saying is true. Maybe it's false. It was recklessly speculative.
I think they got leaned on, man.
You think it was Adam?
This is the reason why, right? This is the reason why. The reason why they're honoring Magic City is because there is a Magic City docuseries that was released recently. The executive producer of that docuseries is one Jamie Gertz.
Third
alternate owner, and the wife of principal owner, Tony Wrestler. So that's why this whole thing came about. Because you got to think about it. Like, Magic City's been around forever. Atlanta Hawks have never done anything like this. Why now? Well, it's because Jamie Gertz produced this docuseries, and this is great cross-promotion. And dare I say, even with the cancellation, has created at least a curiosity about that institution that'll lead to more streams of the product.
Yeah.
So, Ethan,
Everybody
you're not
got what they
giving
wanted.
Luke Kornet any credit at all. It doesn't sound like.
Oh, for starting this rebellion, I do give him credit. He put himself out there, and as a blogger, which I wouldn't expect.
I didn't know that shit still existed.
The most random. If you said, "Look, they're going to do this. They're going to do this cross promotion with Magic City. The Hawks are going to do that. What is going to derail it? You need to tell me the dynamics. You need to tell me who does it. You could not. You give me a million answers when you come up with Luke Kornet is going to blog about it, and that's what's going to get the ball rolling on this. I couldn't have predicted that, but I've got a respect for earnestness. I would never communicate in the way he communicated. And I knew when I saw it, he was just going to get lambasted for being a dork. But I've got a certain respect for somebody just firing their shot and going, this is what I think. I believe this is a problem. It must be stopped. I just, the earnestness of the dorky conservatism of Kornet impressed me. That's what I would say about it.
I just pulled up his blog, guys. Not a whole lot of posts. His first post was June 12th, 2023. Don't pass the rock. The Catholic churches of the 2022-23 NBA season. My name is Luke Kornet. I'm a lifelong Catholic, professional basketball player, and aspiring baker. For the sake of this blog series that he started in 2023, only the first two identifiers will be pertinent. Though if this really takes off, I will be sending cookies to devout readers. Now, you may be sitting there thinking to yourself, Luke Francis, what audience do you think you're trying to reach with this? The Catholic basketball intersection of the Venn diagram is already well supplied by the schools of the old Big East and John Stockton. Oh, right, you are, engaged listener. Holy shit.
The Catholics fascinate me.
I did like that you compared him to Harrison Butker, because that did cross my mind as well. And a much more poorly received commentary.
Well, but Butker was more overtly controversial, I would say, in a political sense.
Telling women to get back in the kitchen and shit, man.
Well, that was the part that was isolated from the Butker, but he also was just going right at Biden. He was explicitly political in his statements versus Kornet, where it's just kind of, hey guys, I just don't think we shouldn't be doing this. This is, kind of not respectful to women or protective of women. And yada,
do you think,
yada.
Ethan, that there was how it was received in the locker room, an NBA locker room, that Luke Kornet came out and decried this?
I think it just depends on the player. I don't know. These Gen Z guys, I've been out of the game. I don't know how they process anything. I don't know what they're about. I saw Al Horford supported Kornet. I saw Draymond criticize Kornet. And That sounds about right to me. It's probably a lot on both sides.
To me, the thing I think that was, I won't call it troubling, but just kind of confusing was Luke Kornet has no ties to the area. He has no ties to the organization.
It's very random.
He has no ties to anyone. Like, you just decided to opine on this. Like, there's any number of theme nights all across the league that some might deem inappropriate. You want to chime in on that?
I mean, you're falling for the okie doke here. Aren't we all supposed to be thinking about the logo here, the NBA brand? The players don't care about the brand. And now we have Luke Kornet who's like, hey, think about what the NBA is supposed to be representing here. I mean, he's an employee of the NBA.
Wait, so I mean, are you pro? Let me make it sound like I'm interrogating him. Are you pro stripper night? I mean, are you pro that? Are you pro rubbing that and showing
like Jim Rome over here?
Absolutely. Now, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like if Luke Kornet were someone who consistently carried himself publicly as the moral conscience of the NBA players, then I think I'd be like, well, yeah, Luke Kornet's been consistent on this. But it's just like, this is where you rear your head?
What if he has been consistent on it? It's just the blog doesn't have any.
I'm looking at his blog post right here. One about being Catholic, one about Montreal, one about the 23-24 season, one about Charlotte, one about being back in the saddle because he didn't do this for 3 years. He just came back in January of this year to talk about being a Spur. Then talk about surviving as a Spur. Then how dependence brought me freedom. What's dependence on what? I don't know what that's about. Then one about how he's a big Mike Vrabel guy. Then a day in the life of a Bus One boy. And then concerning the Atlanta Hawks. So, like, there's no, you have no, I won't even call it authority. You have no track record of even being someone who speaks out on moral issues.
I would fire back at you. It worked. His name, now more known. This issue, you could say, why did he choose this issue? But this issue apparently chose him. And it's not an issue that raises my hackles, but it does for him. He's a different person. He's a devout Catholic. He's got that perspective on the world.
You just learned that. You just learned he's a devout Catholic right now because I told you.
I mean, I knew he was religious Christian. I could get that much from what he wrote in the post. I didn't know what denomination specifically, or maybe I read it there and I totally forgot it, but now I'm getting a bit digressive with it. Look,
I watched Caleb Presley's interview with Anthony Edwards, and I was wondering if Luke Kornet was on the Minnesota Timberwolves, how he would feel about this, and when he would be.
He just blog about every alleged abortion. He would just blog about it.
Well, he's Atlanta. So I just kind of feel like he might. I'm not saying that Anthony Edwards has been to Magic City. I don't know that for a fact. Just I feel like Victor Wembanyama being the face of the San Antonio Spurs, I feel like is an important, not important, but an interesting detail in this story is that who does Luke Kornet have to like answer to in the locker room? It's a guy from France who's already spoken out about the values of America.
Who's shown a track record of speaking out on topics. I mean, to me, his standing is secondary to, dog, do you do this or not? Or why was this the one where you got up in the morning like, enough is enough?
Well, I liked Jared Weiss's report, his tweet where he said that he saw Luke Kornet hunkered over his laptop in the locker room, hammering out his latest story.
This is amazing.
Quote, "Did you make deadline?" I jokingly asked him after he closed his laptop. "This will get some attention," Kornet responded.
So he's trying. There you go. It's not, I'm a devout Catholic.
I love 7-footers, man. They're all their own special brand of snowflake. And I don't say snowflake in the idea of weak. I say it in the idea of they're all just weird. They're all just different. They're just different people. I am taking up for him. I do not have this man's perspective on life. I would not have been galvanized.
You're not a devout Catholic?
I'm not a devout Catholic. I wouldn't have been galvanized to act. I think if I was an NBA player, I wouldn't have spoken out on it. But I mean, I would say that it's demonstrated itself. It proved itself a legitimate topic. He shut down the proceeding, and I think the rebuttal to what you're saying is, what is his track record? Why speak out? It's an NBA event. And he's in the NBA. I think it's a little bit outside his purview, but it's not completely arbitrary. I don't think
it is arbitrary in the sense that he's never spoken out about anything in the NBA. That's my point.
But based on what he said, I mean, it sounds a little to me like such terrible food in such small portions. You want more speaking out from Luke Kornet? Do you think you're going to be agreeing with him as he speaks out more?
He's going to go on a tear after this. Now that he's had this type of impact, do you think he's going to put the laptop down?
Yeah, I think you should be praising the man for his discretion.
422 likes and 50 comments on his Hawks. Let me see what the comments say.
I've got to now you got me curious. Is he a fellow Substacker? Or is this his own like blogspot.com?
Yeah, I read it was Substack, and then it was frustrating because I was looking it up, and then Medium, it popped up. And that's this whole other topic of how hard it is to just find the original source of anything. But I think he might become one after this whole.
That was my third eye open take, was that Ethan is sticking up for him because he's on Substack.
I know. I stick up for.
Well, it looks like Ethan's recommending his Substack on House of Strauss. Wait a minute.
I mean,
this might be my favorite one. Great job, Luke. I hope you keep speaking up for women. The way the league lets abusers run rampant is crazy. I would love for you to keep the pressure on. Call out all these orgs. Even the Spurs let that sicko Josh Primo stick around after he was horrible and dangerous to women. Yeah, the Spurs did do that. Luke, you care? You wanna have talk to us about why the organization that pays you saw it was all right to have Josh Primo around? Yeah, Luke, you're a big defender of women. Why don't you come defend women now?
Yeah, see, welcome to the media. You can denounce one thing and then you have to denounce everything else. Yeah,
loves Magic City.
I love that I was gonna get this hoodie and now that's in jeopardy.
Luke, you hypocrite who's wrenched this away from us. How about you explain everything? What's Magic City like? You've been there? Is nice? Is fun? Is cool?
Yeah. Okay. So first and foremost, the wings are that good. I reached a point, obviously it wasn't like my first or second time going to Magic City, but I reached a point in my life where that was a legitimate like dinner option. I'm hungry, I could go for some wings. You want to go to Magic? And we would literally go pick up the food and leave. Not do anything else. Not because like, it wasn't that. It was just, we weren't coming for the entertainment. We were legitimately coming for the food. So the wings are tremendous. Entertainment, pretty good too. Pretty good too. So, yeah, I mean, Magic City is one of those places where, and the irony is like, I understand it. Like, is this appropriate for a family environment? No, right? Like you got to be 21 to get in. So obviously there's already that. But again, people point out that we are inundated with alcohol and gambling, sponsorship and selling of constantly, and those things are not for people under 21. Watching NBA games, we have advertisement for all types of medications that are clearly not like, oh yeah, I have arthritis. It's dick pills. We're getting sold dick pills left and right. There are all of these things, or Plan B. I've seen a bunch of Plan B ads come on recently, although that was streaming when I was streaming games, not watching on regular television. But I guess the point is, we as a business, as an industry, have basically blessed all of these legitimate but adult-themed sponsorships and partnerships for the sake of money, one way or another. And so I do find it curious that this is the line. And I wonder how hard the Hawks fought back, given that this was more than just, it's a promo night and we sold some extra single game tickets, but our ownership is involved in a business venture of this sort.
I observe that, but everybody's got their line. You mentioned the line. You have your line. You have your line. I don't know what that line is. You have your line of the NBA engaging in a promoted vice that would make you go, it's a little too much, or I wouldn't want my kids around this. So that line exists somewhere. It just, appears to exist in a different place for Luke Kornet and some other people than it would exist for yourself, right?
It's a little different though. It's a little different with obscenity or something explicit that you can't opt into, right? If you go to an NBA game and you're a kid, it's not like just because they have ads for beers that you will like have to consume them by being there.
Yes, absolutely. And just because they have ads for gambling doesn't mean you have to do a parlay right then and there. And just because it's Magic City night doesn't mean there are strippers there. You just proved my point.
Fair. I did not know what Magic City night, what they were going to be doing.
We'll never see it, so we don't know.
We know. They told us what it was. It was a concert. It was a podcast, a live podcast taping.
It was chicken
wings and a hoodie. And the hoodie doesn't have a silhouette of a girl like the Bada Bing or whatever, which, by the way, plenty of times I've seen people wear Bada Bing shirts. Oh, by the way, if you really want to get weird about it, hey, you know who kind of look like strippers, even though they're not strippers?
The dancers.
The dance team.
Liquor girls.
The dance team. And they're doing explicit dances, and they're dancing to songs that are like the content of which, even if they're not cussing, you know what the song is about.
Well, the NBA was trying to phase those out, though. They were trying to
dance teams.
Yeah,
thanks to Luke Kornet.
Not thanks to Luke Kornet. I think it was
Kornet contest. He contested it and won. You know,
I think it was maybe even a little bit less from the conservative side and maybe more from the other side. But remember, at some point, they started having old people do the dances and the
golden
dance
grannies.
Breaks.
That golden grannies, golden oldies, all that stuff. They do that. That's not a replacement, Ethan. That's something that happens one every 6 games. Meanwhile,
I know,
you know who's there every game? The hot ones. The hot ones with their titties out and short shorts and like, or booty shorts or whatever it is, or skirts. Like, again, we can't play this both sides. Like, oh my God, think of the children. And here come the Nick City dancers. And they're about to
dancers,
booty, rocking everywhere. Like,
I've always thought that was an interesting thing because they are strippers-ish, right? It's in this strange... Okay, this is a whole other conversation about this idea of sex work and how there's this huge industry that's not explicitly sex work, but is sex work adjacent. And some would say that's team dancers aren't that. And I would say to that, I mean, if you were 40 pounds overweight, you wouldn't be allowed to do it. There's something to that. It's like soft stripping, that whole thing. And that just seems to have been grandfathered in and accepted because we're used to it.
This is the continuum of it's art. These people are dancing. Dancing is an art form, right? Dancing is an art form. So does it make a difference if the dancing that occurs in front of 20,000 people who are eating beer, drinking beer and eating nachos, or 40, 100 people in a dark room, right? And
it's the kids. That's the variable that's different.
And
one's a family-friendly
atmosphere.
The other is a strip club.
When we say the kids, I think that what a lot of adults, and this isn't an argument against it, but I'm just being a realist about it. What a lot of adults want to avoid is just having to have a conversation. And I would rather take my kid to a game where I don't have to explain what the promotional night is about versus a game where I do.
I'm sorry. How hard is it to say they have good chicken wings?
Well, I'm
lying. Then I'm lying about what this institution's about.
They do have good chicken wings.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm telling my son. So my son's gonna go. Here's what's gonna happen if I'm thinking about my son, and if I was in Atlanta, that my son's going, well, let's go to Magic City, Dad. And he's telling his friends, I want to go to Magic City to get the chicken wings.
My dad told me that Magic City has the best wings.
I had them at the Hawks game. They were amazing.
So your belief is, it's funny, I do agree with you, is that most adults are just trying to shirk out the need to have that tough conversation. Where I disagree is that, like, why aren't they having a tough conversation? Daddy, why are those women dancing with no clothes on? Or you see what I'm saying? It's like, first of all, I love this assumption that children are like always paying attention at all times.
Yeah, my kid doesn't notice any of the gambling.
No, they don't notice anything, man. They don't notice anything. They don't notice anything. They're sitting around or they'll notice a mascot. Harry the Hawk will come by, and that's it. That's all they're seeing. And you can have
my kids always notice the mascot everywhere.
That's what I just said. I said Harry the Hawk will come by, and they'll notice that, and they won't notice a literal stripper pole at center court and a butt naked woman doing twirls around it over and over. They won't even see it because someone dressed like a big bird has just arrived in the section.
It's true. It's so
like
true.
It's all of it is. It is masking this incredible like double speak that everyone is engaging in, right? That, hey, this needs to be a family-friendly environment, except for the stuff that like we just do anyway, right? And again,
but we're used to those things. I think that's what it comes down to. There are certain vices we're used to, and there are certain vices that would be a novel vice, and people have an instinct against the novel vice.
I wanted to steer this back to funny, is the Nathan Felder tweet that I saw here that someone wrote, the plan, have your backup center use his recently popularized blog to diminish the home court advantage for the team you have a pick swap with. And I was just like, this is genius. Oh, yeah. That Luke Kornet, member of the San Antonio Spurs, who has the pick swap with the Atlanta Hawks, is trying to remove home court advantage from the team and increase the odds that they get the number 1 overall pick. I like this theory.
And it's worked like a charm because the Hawks have won 6 straight games.
And Magic City is now more popular than ever, getting it even more so on the minds of visiting NBA players. I just don't. I mean, it's interesting they got a pick swap, but
not that interesting. Not that interesting.
It's more coincidental. It's more coincidental than interesting. Yeah, I guess I think Kornet, I don't have his view on it necessarily, but I do think it's inappropriate. I'm standing by that. Even if I acknowledge what Amin's talking about, that we tolerate all these other vices, I just think the whole stripper thing, it's a little too much.
Including the vice of women scantily clad dancing. We tolerate that.
We're used to that one, Amin. We're used to that.
So we'd rather have women scantily clad actually dancing than just a reference to a place were they scantily clad?
Luke Kornet is so lucky that Amin's not a beat writer covering the Spurs.
Oh my God,
he would be grilling him because he would be putting a man to a decision, Doyle Brunson style, going, Luke Kornet, are you against the team dancers performing? Yeah. And why not? Why not, Luke? Why not? Do you want to take these jobs away from these women?
Trust your feelings, Luke.
Actually, I would do the David Stern. I would ask him, why are you against these women earning a living? Right?
And Luke Kornet would have to go because they tend to get addicted to cocaine. I mean, that's what tends to happen at these institutions down the road. That's just what I'm concerned. I don't know what he thinks happens with these women. I have no idea.